that there are, some teams there, some officials there helping with the rescue work. A lot of the locals also clearly helping with removal of the debris. Very narrow lanes, and obviously it's a big challenge to get in any sort of machinery there, which could help in removing that rubble.
Yes, it's going to be a challenge bringing in the machinery to the spot, and that is something that the authorities are going to have to tackle with. But given the fact that this is an area that's extremely congested, Dongri by nature is an area that's congested, it's extremely overbuilt up, and very, very little space in between buildings. Even roads and bylanes are very, very narrow. So obviously, in everything that is could go against the authorities in a rescue and relief operation, every challenge that they could think of perhaps exists in areas like these. But even in that existing challenging areas, they have to sort of carry out these, rescue operations. And there are so many buildings in that place. Obviously, they'll have to negotiate all of that, the narrow bylanes, to get their equipment to the area where the building has actually collapsed. And from there, of course, sort of carry out these rescue operations to try and get to those people who are trapped inside. As local estimates suggest, there could be at least around 40 to 50 people trapped.
We're just seeing some visuals of a person having been pulled out on a stretcher. I'm not sure what the state of that person is, but we were speaking to Shaina NC a short while ago, and she said that yes, this is a problem. It's a priority. She claimed for the Maharashtra government as well, for the Chief Minister's office, and the issue that Bombay faces, of course, with very little space, a lot of illegal construction, also a low-level corruption and resistance among people to actually move out of these buildings that may be condemned, that may be assessed as unsafe.
Absolutely, in fact, there is a lot of, when, of course, if it was a new building, if it was one that had been recently constructed, if it was one that is, been given clearances in spite of being badly constructed, then that is a different question. But it seems from these pictures that this is an old building, and Mumbai, unfortunately, has a lot of these old buildings which are practically livable, but people continue to live there given the fact that, there is simply no other option for them to go somewhere else. And in such a situation, what you see is that people continuing to risk their lives actually by living in a building like this.